Do you remember the first fossil you ever saw with your own eyes? How incredible that, in spite of living millions of years apart, you would be met face to face with an extinct creature. Today, we're going to take a look at the incredible process that causes this to happen and examine the different categories of fossils. The term fossil comes from the Latin word fossus, meaning having been dug up. Anything from bones, shells, feathers, and plant life can go through the fossilization process. Even microscopic organisms like bacteria can become a fossil. This whole process can take, on average, about 10,000 years to occur, recent fossils being mammoths and the oldest being algae. Generally, the fossilization process is a rare phenomenon. It takes just the right conditions for this to happen. The first step to becoming a fossil is simple. You have to die. After death, the best fossils are usually then preceded by a rapid burial. This could be anything from sediment at the bottom of the ocean floor to even being covered in tar. This step is important because if simply left sitting out, the body runs the risk of being damaged by the elements, or it could be scavenged and the body parts will be left disarticulated. A large amount of fossils are found preserved in underwater environments. In fact, the most common fossils that are found are of sea life. But why are these marine fossils so common? Well, life originated in the water. So when our ancient mammalian ancestors were first starting to walk on land, hundreds of millions of years had already passed for life in the sea. So animals like bivalves, cephalopods, corals are all relatively easy to find. Okay, so what happens next in the process? Once sufficiently buried, minerals from the ground begin to enter the pores of the body due to the pressure from being buried. Over time, the bones harden and eventually all the organic material is changed into stone. This is known as permineralization. The skeleton is no more, and all we have left is an impression of it. My favorite thing about these types of fossils is that the minerals in the sediment actually can affect the color of the fossil. Ever wonder why some fossils are jet black? That's because of the mineral phosphate. If this mineral replaces the organic material, the fossil becomes black. Areas with lots of iron in the ground can create red or orange fossils. Take, for example, the fossil from the Patagonian titan Maximo. He was unearthed from the red clay in Argentina that was high in iron. In fact, over time, new minerals can seep into fossils to add new colors. A beautiful example of this comes from Pennsylvania. These plants fell into oxygen-poor water. Heat and pressure cooked the plants over time, leaving only a carbon film on them. Pyrite replaced some of the carbon to make them orange. And eventually, some of the pyrite was replaced by the white color from pyrophyllite. A different kind of fossilization you're probably familiar with is resin. This is when substances like tree sap harden, and this is then transformed into amber. Amber is how we have gorgeous examples of organisms embedded within a protective shield. Insects, plants, and other snapshots of the past can be perfectly preserved within this sap. I would like to quickly add that there is something that amber can't preserve, and that's DNA. Sadly for scientists, even under the most ideal conditions, DNA basically becomes unreadable after about 1 million years. So, yeah, I think you can see where I'm going with this one. Nevertheless, some other incredible discoveries have been found within amber fossils. A deadly plague germ on the body of a flea, an injured salamander fleeing for its life, and even a harvestman spider with, let's just say morning wood. But, by far, some of the most important amber fossils have to be feathers from the Cretaceous period. These are simply fantastic, but we'll have to dig into this treasure trove of a find on a different video. I have one more type of fossil I'd like to cover today, and that's trace fossils. These are fascinating in a different kind of way. They aren't bones or feathers or anything like that, but fossils of animal activity captured forever in time. Looking at trace fossils is like getting a glimpse of creatures that we wouldn't be able to see for ourselves. These fossils can be anything from burrows, animal tracks, tooth marks, you name it. It's impressive to think about how long a footprint can actually last. These were likely made in mud or maybe along the shore. If the conditions were right, the footprints dry, and more layers of sediment cover them to protect them from erosion. Who would have thought that these markings would survive millions of years after floods, earthquakes, ice ages, all for us to be able to appreciate it in the modern age? These kind of fossils are arguably just as important as bone fossils because they give us a glimpse into animal behavior. We're able to know that some dinosaurs could lay clutches of eggs because we have fossil evidence of their nests. By finding a large number of these nests clustered together, we can infer possible communal nesting grounds. If there are multiple trackways of the same dinosaur together, traveling in herds could be suggested. Heck, even fossilized dinosaur droppings are an excellent way of taking a look at their diet. Paleontologists can look inside these fossils, known as coprolites, and try to narrow down who made it. If they contain bone fragments, it's possibly a carnivore. Herbivore droppings can contain things like seeds, pollen, or even bark. Before I end this episode, I thought I would share my favorite and very specific trace fossil with you all. At first glance, it might just look like a regular set of footprints, but this fossil also shows the prominent pubis bone touching the ground. Though we can't know for sure who left this mark, their size and shape matches very closely to Dilophosaurus. And no, I'm not talking about the frilled, venom-spitting one. I'm talking about the real Dilophosaurus. This trace fossil might even hint at feathers in the impression, but that could also simply be cracks in the mud, so we don't know for sure. What I love the most about this fossil is honestly picturing the pose the animal was in. It might have been walking along the beach and then came to a rest. Maybe it just wanted to do some sunbathing on a warm afternoon. I suppose there are some people out there who won't recognize how much information these ancient rocks can hold, but I love fossils just as much as I love dinosaurs. They are a window into a time that we were never able to see for ourselves. With new discoveries of fossils being made every week, I wouldn't be surprised if we made new fascinating breakthroughs this year. What unknown information is out there, just waiting to be found? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Thank you guys for watching this week's video. I'd love to know if you have a favorite specific fossil yourself. Feel free to comment down below and maybe even consider giving this video a like if you learned anything new. Thank you so much again for watching this, and I'll see you guys next time.